A lack of thought out instructions for different possible scenarios can turn a normal situation into a dire one and even spiral to a dangerous emergency. Let's see how we can work with unintrusive frameworks to create safe habits. Many stories with fatal outcomes started in normal, day to day, mundane ways. Some escalated slowly, with the decisions made that put the person closer to danger. Others went south really fast and gave the victim little to no room to react accordingly. What can we learn from true stories and even fictive cautionary tales about being in the right headspace and prepared enough to live to tell said tale? As there are no way to shield yourself from all risks in life, you need to find a way to balance caution with relaxedness for any hope of being able to enjoy life. With a functional nervous system and safety frameworks in place, this can be achieved. The more proficient you get at thinking in this way, the easier it gets to work in an unintrusive manner. Several scientific studies support the importance of mental preparedness in dangerous situations. One study published in BMC, Medical Education, found that combining theoretical training with high fidelity simulation significantly improved emotional preparedness and mental resilience in emergency responders. Another study published in Natural Hazards suggests that psychological preparedness includes both cognitive and emotional aspects, helping individuals manage stress and make better decisions during disasters. A case study on the 2023 Turkey earthquake highlighted the need for psychological preparedness among first responders, showing that mental readiness impacts their ability to perform effectively. Some concepts that emphasize the importance of mental readiness in improving decision making, emotional stability, and overall survival outcomes are the following. Psychological preparedness for disasters highlights two dimensions: cognitive preparedness, knowledge of threats and adaptive responses, and affective preparedness, self awareness and emotional control. Mental health and psychosocial support means that timely interventions can mitigate mental health risks before, during, and after emergencies, promoting recovery and resilience. Studies push anti fragility, which means exposure to stressors, volatility, and randomness will make growth occur, given that the load does not surpass their personal threshold, just like lifting weights at the gym. Major incidents typically happen quickly and unexpectedly, leaving little time to assimilate, predict, and prepare. Amongst first responders, both rescuers and volunteers, psychological preparation for a potential adverse event can have a critical impact on the success of the response. Results showed that the majority of a study's respondents believe that training aimed at protecting mental health and preventing the harmful effects of stressful situations does not meet the challenges they encountered during rescue missions. Thus, there is a need to find practical solutions. Inclusion of psychosocial assistance activities, psychological preparedness. Individuals and communities affected by hazardous events, including disasters, react in different ways. From relatively transient and minor stress reactions to significant distress and psychosocial impairment. The majority of stress reactions are likely to resolve quickly when individuals are able to access social supports and re-establish community networks. When these protective factors are limited, some individuals may experience worsened health conditions. Some results and implications. General preparedness has been linked to personal traits such as life orientation, optimism or pessimism, self-esteem, self-worth, self-acceptance, self-efficacy, optimistic self-beliefs to cope with a variety of difficult demands in life, and also the anxiety scale. and might be evaluated using the Psychological Preparedness to Disaster Threat Scale, PPDTS. In addition to the physical or material preparation, there is a psychological or mental preparedness for disasters to take into account. A cognitive aspect directed at the threat, involving knowledge of the threat environment and adaptive responses. Another aspect being affective, involving self-awareness and emotional self-control. Where mental health and psychosocial well-being are integrated with disaster risk reduction, both those who are affected and those who manage the risks are more likely to be resilient. Engage actively in prevention, preparedness, response, and recovery, and work to re-establish societal functioning. Some anecdotes and personal stories. Through my personal training and development, together with my academic studies and professional work, I have been building upon my understanding of core concepts that might apply to any type of event response. So what makes certain people more apt to respond well during some types of events? While one person can handle a violent assault or robbery particularly well, that same person might not be able to cope in a situation of an earthquake where elderly or infants would need to be taken care of and protected. A person who is a bit of a daredevil might be able to jump off a cliff to help a drowning pair, but might not be able to stomach performing first aid on a homeless person with vomit around the mouth. Not one person is good at everything, and most of our traits that restrict us from doing certain things are skill-based and thus improvable. Many traits that I thought were part of my personality ended up being wrongly labeled. As soon as I understood that certain thoughts, reactions, and understandings of the world were constructs that did not suit me in the given period of my life that I was in, I started to see where I could improve through learning and practice. To understand that there are a lot of things we can do preemptively to prepare ourselves for hardships, we need to look at our fears and understand where they stem from. Many times, it is a belief that we lack tools and ability to shield us from them and their effects on our lives. Some limitations. It is difficult to adapt concepts to a broad type of circumstances without them becoming too general for practical application. We will focus on specific aspects for them to be able to be adapted to anyone's specific situation. At Allmeer, we do believe that we can make our own lives a bit easier by agreeing to a common understanding on what to expect out of our situations objectively, and also agreeing on ways to handle said situation when it occurs. When these habits become second nature, they become so unintrusive that they become part of your routine and are effortless for you to bring forth to use when needed. Fact is, many of these concepts are already in use by you, even if they are implicit. As an example, you already know who you would call in different situations depending on the nature of it and your relation to the person you would seek out for support. You might firstly react out to a close friend when you are having issues with a partner. You might also reach out to a completely different person like a parent if you are in dire need of money. And maybe even a third person if you are in league with people you don't trust. By using the Allmeer app, you are already on the way of creating the foundation for safe habits. Together with your peer on Allmeer, you should agree on the situations both or one of you are worried about ending up in. When there is a mutual understanding of the situation, you need to agree on the potential consequences it can have on your life. When the common understanding of the seriousness is set, you need to place the different breaking points when you would need assistance. Then the type of assistant need to be clarified. How the help is expected to be received and the time aspects of it. Don't forget to set the boundaries or limits for the person helping you. This is crucial as it makes it viable for the supporting person to agree to, as it is easier to fit into their personal life. Some limitations. Don't expect everything to go as planned all the time. Take into consideration that if a planned scenario is too specific, there is a risk of the measures taken to be too rigid if anything would deviate from the plan. On the contrary, a too broad scenario might end up working against you as the plan is not making anything clearer for you to rely on when shit hits the fan. It's a balance act. Be prepared to revise your plan. Whatever threats or uncertainty you are facing in your life, you need to be brave and confront them if you want to have any chance, how small it might seem, of facing it and living to tell the tale. Life is scary. Good people get hurt, and not only by accident or chance, but sometimes by design or purposefully by evil. Our lives are entangled or connected with anyone who cares about us, which makes us responsible for that impact as well. We leave ripples through time and space. The feeling you leave others with can save them, and reverse. Take steps, how small you might need, but take them, one at a time. Learn, grow, adapt, and surpass. Use the tools at your disposal and create safe habits with your peers. Help them help you and help others the same way. How to apply this then? By using the Allmeer app, you put the thought process of thinking and making plans about unpleasant topics in a container that you choose when to visit. It does not taint other apps or conversations with the people you need the help from. And when it is time, you both open up the container and address your threats strategically and tactically. Position yourself in a favorable place that gives you respite and room for the plans to be executed, but also leaves you headspace for improvisation if needed. Some key points: prepare yourself, work up the bravery you need to accept that there is risk in your life. Acknowledge the feelings that are summoned and agree that you need to come up with a plan for how to face it together with the people who care for you. If anything, bringing up your fears to someone who cares for you might be enough to start a conversation. Take it from there and ask if the person is willing to support you if needed. Make the boundaries clear. This will make it easier to agree. Start a conversation. Look for the tools that will make the process easier, such as Allmeer. That's all for this time. Take care of each other, be kind to yourself, and practice bravery. Until next time, have a good one.